Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
Hello, Namaskar. You're watching BT TV. This is Market Today. I'm Tanya, Aneja, and with me, Shailendra, Bhatnagar, our markets editor. Well, Santa rally continues on the Lal Street, and of course, we'll discuss the opportunities for you in the last trading hour. But first, let's do one thing. Let's take a quick market check. Well, the markets have actually recovered very smartly as we speak. 21,457, that's the level on Nifty, 108 points lower, 108 points higher, and the low today was of 21,329 odd level. So we have recovered from that mark very sharply, and Nifty Bank is also contributing in today's rally that we are seeing. 301 points uptick there on Nifty Bank, 47,806 is the level, and if you look at the top gainers from today's trading session, Divi's Labs, clearly the top performer of the day, 4.4% uptick there, 384 cents, that's the level on Divi's Lab, and Hero MotoCorp as well. We discussed this stock in the morning trade. Above that 4,000 odd level for the very first time as we speak. Wipro, it was Sony's top pick from the morning trade that we had. 472 on Wipro as we speak. NTPC and Kotak Mahindra Bank, these are some of the other gainers for you. But coming to you, Shell, now very quickly for a quick market check as well. Clearly, Santa rally continues on the Lal Street, and how?
Very true, Tanya. A very warm good afternoon to you. Welcome to Vaishali, and a very warm welcome to thousands of viewers who are joining us. Yes, it's a triple-digit gain on the Nifty, 21,458. We are very close to the intraday high of 21,470. Let's see whether the index closes above 21,500 today or not. And then, of course, we have 21,593 in our sights. 3 trading sessions left in 2023, and all the good mood that's possible after Christmas and before New Year is there baked in the price. Today's pullers and draggers as far as the Nifty is concerned are HDFC Bank, Reliance, Kotak Bank for a change, and Tanya, you remember you had picked up NTPC right in the morning. So NTPC has contributed 7 points to Nifty's rally. Kotak for a change has come up with 12 points. It's woken up after many months, many years. Remember, for 3 years, Kotak hasn't done anything at all when it comes to any substantial price movement. Reliance Industries 13 points and HDFC Bank 14 points. What's pulling down the Nifty? The IT stocks, which is Infosys, 1% lower, responsible for 14 points loss. TCS, 0.5% lower, responsible for 6 points, and Bajaj Finance, Tata Motors and HDFC Life are also charts that are weakening and therefore pulling the Nifty down. But Tanya, the action is elsewhere completely. Of course, we are very thankful for the 100-point rally on the Nifty, but we picked up defense stocks right in the morning. Mazgaon Dock was the first chart check, 2286 for you, 7.5% higher, and the volume of somewhere like 77 lakh shares is 6 times the 5-day average. Huge build-up happening in Bharat Dynamics, BEL, BDL, and of course Cochin Shipyards. Of these, BDL, Cochin, BEL are at record highs, and you had picked up Gas Authority, that's also at record highs. Lots and lots of momentum across the board. Let's get Vaishali with us and find out her 2 picks as far as today's markets are concerned. Vaishali Parekh joining us, AVP Technical Research at Prabhudas, Lilladher and Our Lady Luck. Good afternoon, right. Vaishali. What looks good on the charts?
Good afternoon, Shell. Good afternoon, Tanya. Thank you again for having me on the show. Yes, so you just were talking about Kotak Bank. So that is definitely one of my picks right now. Because if you see, after a very long time, we are seeing a decisive breakout right from 1865, 1870 levels. So now we have moved past that and comfortable about that. So I would be now looking at a target of 1940 to 1980 levels from here on. And 1850 would be my stop loss. So this is one stock that I would like. And now, well, we are seeing a lot of momentum coming in fertilizer stocks, even in chemical stocks. So I would now look at clean. Actually, clean has already got into a momentum, and well, the current market price is 1544. So I would say this stock should be accumulated now and even in decline for a target of 1800. Of course, this is a positional strategy. So clean, I think technically very well placed. Besides this, even fertilizer stocks like National Fertilizers, GSFC, they're all doing well. Even Chambal, that's just coming on your radar, that is also good. So these are the two sectors that I would be now looking at.
Okay.
Fair point. So these are the shares, especially Kotak. And 2 points I forgot to mention in our earlier conversation, Tanya. We had also picked up Laurus Labs. That was the first call that Sony had
Sony.
given
Yes.
as far as her technical views were concerned, and a fundamental call on Castrol. Both these stocks are doing phenomenally well. Castrol, in fact, at 176.45 is showing a massive, massive turnover of 492 crores. That's fairly substantial. And of course, Laurus Labs amongst the top gainers as far as the pharma space is concerned. To you, Vaishali, the alkyl stocks, the amine stocks are coming back in action. Very strong traction on alkyl amines and Balaji amines. Anything that catches your attention in the chemical space apart from these two, or even these two?
So definitely, actually, if you go to see Balaji Amine and Alkyl Amine, in fact, we have already started recommending this to our clients. But besides this, there are many other stocks. In fact, today, which is just a fresh opportunity, I think this too is a chemical stock. It is called Epigral. If you see technically, it is just after a very long consolidation. We are today seeing one big bullish candle with good volume pickup. So, well, that is the current market price is 935. If you can see it, Epigral. And that is what I'm looking at. So this would be one of the stocks which is technically very well placed, and I would be looking at a target of 1000. In fact, even Tata Chemicals for a change, I mean, that has always been a laggard. And this too was our morning recommendation, and I think it's done very well. We still continue to stay bullish on Tata Chemicals also.
Okay, absolutely got that. And let's talk about the auto sector as well, Vaishali, because this index hit its record high of 18,005 on 7th of December. The index is up around 40% this year and has outperformed the benchmark. And even if we look at some of the price action that's happening today, Hero MotoCorp, the top gainer for you, of course, above that 4,000 odd level mark. Then we have M&M also. Any stocks that you like from the auto sector?
So, well, these are the stocks that, I mean, talking about Hero Motor, talking about Bajaj, all these are doing well and should continue to do well. But, well, I would be a bit worried at picking up the stock at these levels because these are very overbought and showing a good run up. So, rather, I would look at Ashok Leyland that is not participated at all. So Ashok Leyland technically very well placed. I would look at Ashok Leyland because once we see a good run up coming in the stock moving about to 83, 84, I mean, sorry, 182, 184, I think this stock is ready for a target of 190 to 200 and 200 plus. So technically well placed is Ashok Leyland and Maruti also. So Maruti also has been really just sluggish and consolidating at these levels. I would look at Maruti also because technically, again, if auto sector continues to do well, this would be a good pick to start accumulating from 10,000 levels. And once we see this stock moving about 10,500, this should be ready for the targets of 10,800 to 11,000 to start with. So yes, Maruti and Ashok Leyland.
Okay, absolutely. Keep an eye out on these two stocks. And Vaishali, since we are discussing auto stocks, so I want to discuss Tata Motors as well. It is the the top loser from the auto pack today. But if you see the YTD performance, it is up around 87% in 2023 so far. Clearly the top gainer from the Nifty auto pack. So what would you do with Tata Motors at these levels?
So, well, right now it's lost its steam for an upward move right now. Maybe it would just consolidate, but as long as, well, for a short term trader, 700 rupees as a support level, or for a broad base, I would look at 680. So, I would be seeing the range of 680 to 740 levels. So, I would still hold on to this stock. Either ways, I mean, if there is a breach of 740, then of course we are ready for targets like 800 and so on. But if this stock, the support of 680 breaks, then I would definitely exit.
Okay, let's analyze Castrol, and Vaishali, I'd like your view on this one. Reason being that the stock has done nothing for 10 years. 0% return in 10 years, absolutely nothing. And here is a situation where this is going hammer and tongs. Yesterday, which is on Friday, the volume was somewhere like 4 crore shares, and today we've already hit somewhere in the vicinity of 3 crore shares. Price is accompanying a rise, and the counter looks juicy at a time when, you know, mid caps have gone up 10 times, 5 times. This one's done nothing. What are the charts telling you?
Well, so even if you see the weekly chart, we saw a breakout coming right from 162. So those who have missed out at the lower levels also, 162 was a good level to have a look at the stock and jump into the trade. So, but those who have still not bought, I think one can start accumulating from here on also, because now that I'm coming on the weekly chart, weekly setup, I think it's ready for a target of 185, and seeing the indicators, I think this can go towards 200 levels also. So, well, now I would maintain the earlier resistance now acts as a support. So the 160 level would now act as a support. Get into the stock for a target of 185 to 200 levels.
Yes, and you will have to twin this view with Sunny Agarwal's fabulous commentary early morning today on Business Today Television on why Castrol makes sense at this point of time. I had also mentioned at that interval that the stock has done nothing for the last 10 years, and it is these underreported gems, the under-tracked gems, that create a phenomenal value when it comes to both the short term and the medium term. Vaishali has given her thumbs up as far as the technical view is concerned. Okay, now what else is buzzing? And it's the two-wheeler space. We've had 2 chart checks, one on Hero Motors, the other on Tata Motors. Tata Motors, of course, is a 4-wheeler. But let's look at what's happening in Bajaj Auto, 1.3% higher. And I'm presuming this is a fresh high. Let me just check. Vaishali, what are Bajaj Auto charts telling you? I have 64.54 with me.
So I would say yes, it's a very robust up move coming in, and I think one can still expect this to go high because I'm just seeing that there is some retracement. I mean, as far as the indicators are concerned, but it's still not lost its steam. So I think Bajaj is ready for a target of 6,600 to 6,700 also. So continue holding with the trailing stop loss. The trailing stop loss comes to around 6,200 levels. So look for a target of 66 to 6,700 from here.
Okay, Shell, I can't take my eyes off from these, selective defense counters. We discussed this BDL, Masdog in the morning trade as well. But let's take a quick technical check from Vaishali as well. So Vaishali, talking about BDL, I mean, strong moves coming in, whether it's BDL, Masdog, 8% uptick there, 1702 on BDL, Masdog 2290. Is this momentum gonna sustain going forward? I mean, what are the charts telling you?
So, well, we are deep overbought, very, very overbought as far as BDL is concerned. So, once again, I would say with today's low as stop loss, those who are holding for a very long time, with today's low as a stop loss, continue holding because the way defense stocks are going on, I think this can again, once again, go towards the targets of 1800 to 2000. That cannot be ruled out. But, well, I see more scope in Mazgao Docks. There is still some steam left in that. So also is the case with Garden Reach. So these are the stocks I am quite comfortable with. With BDL, yes, it's euphoric, it is strong, but definitely disciplined trading is required.
Discipline trading, that's the key, I think. But Vaishali, talking about Cochin Shipyard as well, PCR, if we can pull up that stock for our viewers, 1370 on Cochin Shipyard, 5% uptick there. What do the charts suggest now at these levels?
So I would say, well, we have come pretty much towards the technical resistance of 1380 to 1400 levels. So that would be the target that one can look at. Then we can have a relook whether the stock is retracing from there on or it's still surging high. But for now, 1380 to 1400 would be the next target.
Fair. Let's look at the broader markets as of now. We've mentioned levels both on Nifty and Nifty Bank. Of the 19 indices that we track for you, 3 are in the red, and just those losses are fairly minor. IT index is down 1/3%. Media index is down 0.5%. It is irrelevant to the broader scheme of things. And the Nifty Realty Index at a record high is slipped a bit. Which is the top gaining index? It's the energy space, and it's something that we've already marked as far as gas authority is concerned, and a lot of moves coming into companies such as NTPC also. What else is buzzing fairly brightly as far as trade is concerned? Look at the advanced decline ratio. Tanya, it's about 1250 stocks in the green, 1240 stocks in the green, and 800 in the red. Strong traction coming into a lot of big indices. If you look at the Nifty mid cap index, it's 0.5% higher, 45,341. The small cap index is flat at about 14,845. But if you see the underlying momentum in these indices, they are doing fairly well. If you look at the mid cap index, of the 100 shares, nearly 60 are in the green, and there are 3 stocks that have gained more than 5%. We've discussed all three: Mazgao Docks, BDL, and Tata Chem. There are 5 stocks that are up between 3 and 5%. We've discussed 3 of them: Laurus Labs, HPCL, NMDC, Max Health, and Deepak Nitrite. So the underlying momentum is fairly strong. And when you look at Nifty 50, I'd like to point out the volume buzzers here. These are the ones that are gaining on substantial volumes and good price action. Divi's Lab, 3881, 5% higher. It's 2.6 times the 5-day average. Wipro, 2.32 times the average. And of course, Britannia and Hero Motors. So the underlying momentum in the market is fairly strong. Tanya.
Okay, absolutely. And let's discuss Nifty Bank with Vaishali as well. So, Vaishali, talking about Nifty Bank, it is also on a roll today. And we discussed Kotak Bank with you. But if you look at the index performance, it is up around 10% this year so far. Talking about some other gainers, Vaishali, Bank of Baroda is one of them. Any picks that you would like to share from the banking space and your thoughts on Bank of Baroda?
So yes, Bank of Baroda, it is getting into a new round of momentum. We are seeing some volume pickup also, and the stock is showing some momentum. So I would say that with the support of 215, I would now look at a target of 240. But as far as the PSU sector is concerned, then even SBI is a good pick even now because it has hardly performed as far as the PSU sector is concerned, banking sector is concerned. So I would say with the support of 625 to 6, yes, so that would be the support. One can still buy because if Bank Nifty has to participate and we are seeing further high up targets coming in Bank Nifty, then SBI needs to perform to go towards the target of 680 to 700. So SBI is also another stock that I would be looking with in the PSU sector. And likewise in frontline, I would still see Axis. After a good move, it has been consolidating, technically well placed. I would look at Axis too.
Okay, absolutely. We discussed a lot of buzzing stocks, but Vaishali, if you look at some of the losers from the mid cap space, there are some names like from the, of course, mid cap IT space, like Persistent. We have, I think, KPIT also, that is in the red as we speak. What are your thoughts? I mean, would you be buying into these dips or you would stay away?
No, I won't say I would stay away, but well, let's wait for it for a little bit of consolidation as far as Persistent is concerned. Because if you see, when the IT sector was just beginning, it was Persistent which was outperforming. So I guess it's for now the technical target of 7450 was pretty much met with on Friday itself. So I would wait for Persistent, but I would rather shift my focus to stocks like HCL Tech, Infosys. These are the stocks that are to my liking right now, because sometime back we had also recommended Wipro. Wipro has also done a good run up. So I would now focus on Infosys, HCL Tech. These would be the stocks that I would look at now.
Okay, let's look at the other action that's happening. Cochin Shipyard, this is a stock which is at a record high. I'm just marking the price. We will not take a technical call because it becomes a little difficult to justify overstretched charts, although this one's fairly quiet and fairly sensible. 1384 for you. The price action is substantial on volume as well. Let me give you some kind of an indication there. 6.5% higher on Cochin Shipyard, and the volume on Cochin Shipyard is 52 lakh shares, 52 lakh shares and 30,000 more. So that's a bit interesting because it's multiple times the normal moving average, normal trading average that we've seen on Cochin Shipyard. Let me just get you the right idea. Cochin. 1 second. Yes, it's about 2.5 times more than the normal one. Yes, exactly 2 times more. Vaishali, would you stick your neck out on Cochin? It's a very flat, quiet kind of a chart. The stock moves as slowly as a ship does.
Yes, so actually, well, I just mentioned some time back that yes, Cochin Shipyard, I am looking at a target of 1400. So if we still continue to surge high, then I think next target would be 1480 to 1500 levels. So, well, that is how I'm looking at it. But yes, there is no exhaustion. Technically, we still see that indicators are quite okay. We don't see that the stock is likely to correct soon. So, well, I would continue to stay bullish on this.
Okay, so 1400 will probably happen today itself, given the momentum that's there on the screen. What's really interesting is that HDFC AMC has a defense fund. It's a sectoral specific fund. We'll post the details on that one tomorrow, and Tanya and I will discuss that as well. So in case you are hesitant, and you should be taking positions on stocks moving rapidly to fresh record high, fresh peaks, it's always best to deal that particular sector via a fund, and then it becomes the fund manager's responsibility to navigate the troughs and the dips. All these shares are there. I think the portfolio consists about 13-14 defense counters, and of course HAL, Cochin, Mascot Docks, Garden Reach Shipbuilders are an integral part of that particular fund. It's also up 40% in the last 6-7 months, and that's the rally that you need to catch. What else is moving? Castrol 179.25. We just discussed this fairly shortly. Granules India 394.40. This is also on the move. Lot of mid-cap pharma buzzing around. Divi's Lab, of course, is the top gainer in that space, as also in the Nifty, given the strength and volume move that's come in. Your view there on Divi's Lab, Vaishali.
So yes, I agree. Today we've seen a good run up coming in the stock, but I think there is still a lot of scope to for this stock to surge high. So if you see chartically, I would look at a near-term resistance at around 39.20. So if you see a decisive move past that, then I think the stock is ready for targets like 4,200 and higher. So yes, it's a bullish view. We are seeing a strong candle, but yes, I won't recommend because intraday only we have seen a good run up of about 404%. So I would say let's wait for a dip to buy and further confirmation about the breakout levels for higher targets.
Okay, absolutely. Vishali, let's get your quick technical check on IRCTC as well. The stock is in the green today, 1% uptick there on this particular counter, 38% return in 6 months on almost same return on a year to date basis as well. 871 is the level where we are at. What do the technical charts suggest for IRCTC?
So, well, it is very strong, and we are just seeing a brief consolidation. So, I'm sure many would have bought it at lower levels, and those who wish to buy it with the support of 840, so closer to the support levels. Because now that I'm seeing the projections of further price targets, I think the stock can do 900 to 940 levels. So, there is still scope for a further run up, but 840 should be the support, and that's where one can make an entry. And those who have bought, keep a trailing stop loss.
Okay, absolutely. And also, Vishali, the rally in PSUs is also continuing currently. Any PSU stock, any counter that is on your radar that you would like to share?
In fact, yes, so we have been recommending BEL, BHEL. Today we are seeing Bharat Bijli coming in the momentum. So, well, the favorites have been BEL, BHEL. So, yes, I continue to say positive. BHEL now looking for, for a target of around 200 levels, and BEL also doing well. So, we continue to stay bullish on these stocks.
Okay. Tanya, let me just mention what's happening in the PSU space. I've been a long-term, how should I say, viewer of this one. We have about 76 stocks now in the PSU space, and of them, just how should I say, 20 are down in the green. Surprisingly, today's biggest loser is IREDA, now down 9%, 8% at about 101.15. This is a very welcome move because this one really appreciated beyond the boundaries of common sense and charts. Everything was super overstretched over the last 1 month or so since it got listed. So IREDA is down. Lots of stocks are resting. National Insurance 2.4% down, which is NIACL. You have some kind of profit booking happening in Bank of India, Chennai Petro, Life Insurance Corporation, JK Bank. These are all quiet, but it's the metal space that's really going ballistic today. MSTC record high 651, 14% higher. NLC India 52-week high, 10% higher, 248. And of course, we have NMDC 3.6% higher, 202. You have Hind Copper, Vidhani, all of them up between 2.6 2.7%. So heavy traction in PSU space, Tanya.
Absolutely, Shell. And we discussed pharma stock Shell, but I think we should discuss some of the stocks from the healthcare index as well, Vaishali. And look at granules today, 394. That's the level here. 2% uptick there. Will this momentum gonna continue going forward as well, Vaishali?
Yes, so I'm seeing the indicator, and I think it's ready for one more round of up move. And well, the near-term support. I mean, we've seen the stock just consolidating at around 380 levels, and just few days we saw a spike going down below. But 380 on a broad base, it acts as a good support level. And the way the chartical look is, I would say that the stock can go above 400 also, and maybe go towards 420, 450. So yes, it looks quite positive.
Okay, and any other stock from this particular space? Because Vishali, we discussed Laurus Labs in the morning, And look at the moves right now. I mean, 5% uptick there on this particular counter. Any other stock on your radar from this space?
So yes, Laurus, we also have been recommending, and in the morning we saw a breakout coming in this stock. So I would say that yes, we continue to stay positive on this for a target now 460 to 480. But also look at Max Health. So Max Health, though it has performed very well, but I would say stocks like these should be buy at every decline. And once again, I'm seeing that a stock after making a minor corrective move, it is ready for a new round of momentum. So Max Healthcare is another stock that I personally like this. And of course, I would keep a stop loss of 600 levels because as we said that yes, market is run up. This stock also has given one way rally. So yes, with the support of 600, start buying the stock. And for a longer term, look for a target of 800 to start.
Shell, so many stocks are ready for a
Okay,
fresh round of
good time
momentum.
as any. Yes. Let's look at those ones which are in super momentum in the high beta space. We have 5% uptick on HFCL 8615. Let's look at IRCON 3% higher 171.75. Let's look at Canfin Homes 776 1.5% higher. We have a good move on let us say Policy Bazaar 2.6% higher 790. I'm purposely taking sectors and stocks that are different from the ones that have gone up sharply. Within the Adani group, today's top gainer is, ladies and gentlemen, Adani Green 1565, 2% higher, which is the top loser in the Adani space. Adani Total Gas about a percent lower, 988. Okay. PSUs we've discussed ad nauseum. Railway space, okay. I'll omit those which are stuck on 5% upper or lower circuits. Let's look at rights, 503.15, 3.2% higher, fairly strong volumes that are coming in. We also have IRCON, which we've just marked. BEML 2% higher. I think this is a record high, 2865. Would you, Vaishali, take a view on BEML?
Yes. So, this too is already quite run up. I wouldn't recommend a buy, but continue holding because these stocks still show a lot of strength.
Yes.
And we would be looking at higher targets of 3,000, 3,200.
Yes. Like I said, charts are extremely overstretched in many of the PSU counters, and especially those which are actually at fresh record highs or are headed that way. So it's best if you have it, just enjoy the momentum. Otherwise, make no effort to get into these counters because at these levels, the risk reward ratio is rarely not in favor of those getting into stocks. We are almost at 3 p.m. and on Tuesday, the first trading day of the last week of 2023, the Nifty is up 80 points, 21,430. Nifty Bank is hitting a double century, 47,700, and the IT index is down about 150 points, 35,500. All in all, a very good day, Tanya. The last half an hour left.
Absolutely, Shell, a very good day indeed. But talking about some other buzzing stocks, Vaishali, and Deepak Nitrite is also on my radar today. 4% uptick there, 2468. That's the level on Deepak Nitrite. What are the charts telling you for this counter?
So as we mentioned that yes, all the fertilizer and chemical stocks are, but I think Deepak Nitrite has outperformed in this sector and it is already shown good run up. But I would still say that there is scope for further upward move. But if we have to talk about fresh entries, then I would look at Navin Fluorine. In fact, even Aarti Industries. So these are the stocks which are technically quite well placed now. But Deepak Nitrite already run up and we would continue. So a good buying opportunity would be at around at lower levels.
Absolutely. And you know, I was checking this NMDC as well. 94% return in just 6 months. 202, that's the level on NMDC, Vaishali. Is this counter now overheated according to you, or the rally will
It
sustain
is,
going
but the
forward?
way we are seeing, yes, it is, but the way we are seeing the stocks moving, I think this is ready for a target of 220. So I would always maintain my strategy of a trailing stop loss from here on, because as I mentioned that yes, most of the stocks have really run up, and if we see some minor profit booking also coming in, these stocks would correct by 4 to 5% on an intraday basis also. So I would definitely suggest please hold on with the trailing stop loss, because we are quite in the overbought zone.
Okay, absolutely. Got that. And any buzzing stock that you would like to carry forward also, Vaishali? Any stock that you would like to recommend from your list?
So, well, I would look at India Cement right now. While I'm talking to you, the stock is showing good strength, good momentum, and there it is a volatile stock. But well, I would say with a stop loss of 250, the stock is looking quite fairly positive for a target of 275 to 80. So this is one stock that is to my liking. The other stock comes to my mind is Sudarshan Chemical. So Sudarshan Chemical also being in the chemical category. This stock is ready for a breakout. If you see the daily chart, and I think the stock is ready for a target of 600, 650. Of course, it would be a positional trade. So I would say do look at this stock with support of 520.
Okay, absolutely. Got that, Vaishali. And India Cements and Sudarshan Chemicals, these are the two stocks one should keep an eye out on. And on that wonderful note, Vaishali, thank you so much for sharing so many stocks ideas with us, as always. Thank you so much for being with us here on BTTV.
Thank you for having me.
So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to take a short and quick break, but lots more coming up for you on the other side. Stay tuned.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back, everyone. It's now time for us to welcome Sharad Avasthi, who is the head of research at SMIFS. Mr. Avasthi, thank you so much, first of all, for taking the time out. Good to have you on BTTV with us again. Let me start with the market outlook first. I mean, Santa Rally continues on the Lal Street. The markets are in a holiday mood right now. What has been your observation so far? I mean, it has been a very good run. The macro cues are also pretty positive. So how much is already getting into the price now?
Well, the recent macro cues, I think, largely are priced in, and I believe the next trigger could be the quarterly results that come out most probably first week, second week of Jan. We will start getting them at full flush. And I think that is where a lot of re-rating might again happen. The forward commentaries would be looked at specifically for the IT stocks, where the mood has been very somber because of the recessionary trend in US. Now with interest rates more or less peaking and may reverse sometime over the next year, there is a high probability that IT could receive some positive, see some positive commentary out of the quarterly results. And beyond that, I think banks should do very well, considering that treasury also starts to contribute to the profits. So quarterly numbers would be the major trigger. I think budget will be largely a no-brainer. Uh, then I think now maybe over the next 10-15 days, we might be reaching a temporary, top kind of for the market, where markets settle down and wait for the quarterly results and then maybe decide on the next outcome. Beyond that, I think long term I continue to be very bullish. I don't think elections will have a whipsaw kind of effect. But prior to that, there may be a period where we might not do much. But I think broadly the bias would still remain positive.
Namaste Sharadji, a very warm welcome to you on Market Today. Just 3 trading sessions left in 2023. It's turned out to be a fabulous year for most sectors. The one that has started ticking over the last 1 week or so is the chemical space. Old favorites, coming back. Balaji Amines, Alkyl Amines, 10-12% बढ़ रहे हैं ये लोग. What, according to your deep research, are the 2 or 3 chemical stocks in the mid-cap space where you would bet your horses on for 2024?
I think in the mid-cap space, जैसा आपने बोला कि हाँ, finally some recovery is there. And Balaji Amines you specifically mentioned. Usually the volumes are a bit on the lower side, so that is why the run-ups are a bit steep on these things. But I think maybe beyond the first 10-15% gradual participation would be much better, so you would not have such exaggerated moves on either side. But Balaji Amines is one of my top bets. I think it is a very fantastic story. I've been tracking it since it was just 30 bucks. And I think it's a story that can do very well in the long term. The capex that they've done, they have had some issues regarding people getting off the board and all that. But all that is behind us. I think gradually there is a high possibility that chemical prices will stabilize. And from here on, you could see some sharp revision, because right now the numbers that we are considering for most chemical companies are very conservative. And most of them have done some good capex. So I think Navin Fluorine could be a good bet because it has corrected a bit because of issues that happened. Beyond that, even Fluorochem or SRF could be good bets to bet on. Because I think hydrogen as a story could be a very good long-term potential for these companies. And beyond this also, I think they have invested substantial amount in the capex that they are doing on existing and new products. So that could aid long-term growth very handsomely for these companies.
Okay, let's look at Balaji Amines. Despite the very strong correction that has already happened on the stock, it's at 25.80. Remember, just a month ago, this was trading at 2,000 rupees. At the moment, it's appreciated somewhere in the vicinity of 25%. But that's not the story. The story is that the counter hit an all-time high of 5,253 somewhere in September of 2021, then peaked. And from then on, it's been a downhill journey. So over the last 6 odd months, 7 odd months, in fact, all of 2023, the low on the stock has been 1917 and the high on the stock has been 2500. So it's moving out of a zone, and this has obviously seen better days, and you'd like to bet on horses that have won you rallies earlier. Balaji Amines is a very good buy according to Sharadji. Very, very strong volumes today, in the vicinity of somewhere like 11 lakh shares have already been traded, and the stock at day's high. These are the breakouts that we are tracking. These are sector leaders that give phenomenal returns in the first leg of the rally, and this is the reason why I asked Sharad the question on his favorite stock. So you can keep in mind Navin Fluorine and Balaji Amines as far as the chemical space is concerned. What else is buzzing? Colgate Palmolive, 24.57. I think this is a fresh record high. One of those rare stocks in the FMCG space, Tanya, which is moving very, very quietly. Yes, fresh record high. If you see the long-term chart of the stock, it moves from bottom left to top right. Somewhere in June, this counter was at 1,600 rupees. And from then on, it's appreciated 50%. Who says that you don't get returns in FMCG stocks? 50% in 6 months, and there is more to go. Let's get Sharad's view on Colgate. Sharad, one of those under the radar stocks which don't say anything to you. Everything looks overpriced in FMCG. Nobody wants to touch a stock with 90 PE, and yet it doubles.
Yeah, currently it's trading at somewhere around 55 times. I think the run-up has been stupendous, maybe something the market knows. But I think 50, 55 times you pay for a Colgate, there is very little scope that you make money over the next 1.5, 2 years at least. Because growth rates would largely be, 10, 15% at max. And competition from the likes of Patanjali and others is creeping in. And I don't think that 50, 55 times is more or less like peak multiples for Colgate over the last, 10, 15 years. So the probability of you making much money from these levels is less, but the only hope you can have is that corrections are usually much lesser in these kind of stories. So at best, you will have a sideways kind of movement. So it could be a safe bet in case of a market correction. But at these valuations, it would be better. I would not advise to get into it at these valuations.
Absolutely. And you are always right, as have been all analysts over the last 30 years that I have been tracking. Everybody finds FMCG very, very expensive, and nobody wants to recommend a stock at 50 PE. Bilkul theek baat hai. And here are the stocks which then, sort of make you feel left out. So Colgate, all 32 teeth shining very brightly, a beautiful smile on your screen. And it's expensive. It was expensive at 1600. It was expensive at 800. It was also expensive at 400. It's still expensive at 2454. 1 year from now, when Sharad ji is back with us, let us see what happens. Right, Sharad?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. Let's focus on some of the market. Castrol India. 1 minute, Tanya. We caught it very, very early, 10% lower from current levels, 182.50 today. Yes, Tanya, you were saying something.
No, I wanted to talk about Castrol only, Shell, and I wanted to discuss this stock with Mr. Avasthi because Mr. Avasthi, if you see the performance of the stock was stuck in a range of 100 to 160 over the last 5 years, and then it gained around 11% last week, best weekly performance since 2020. And up over 35% so far in 2023, and it is the best performance of the stock since 2014 when it gained 60%. So coming to you for this underperformer, I would say Castrol India, what's really next for this stock and what's really working for this company at this point in time?
Firstly, there was too much aberration regarding the advent of EVs, and there would be no ICE engines, so most probably Castrol would have very little business to do. Beyond this, also, they were growing at a very minuscule rate, hardly 8-10% kind of growth was happening, and they had a dominant presence in the ICE engine space. But I think now, gradually, when they are also talking about developing alternative products for the EV market as well as expanding within the ICE range, I think gradually the market is catching up to the point that not everything is going to convert to EV overnight, and it will be a very gradual process, maybe over the next decade or so. So I think that is coming back. At valuations, if you look at Castrol's history, I mean, these are probably the lower end of the valuation table. Still, the stock is trading at somewhere around 20 times. And with crude probably lower and staying lower in the long term, there is a high probability that raw material pressure would not be there on Castrol. And at current prices, I think what you are looking at a 4-5% kind of dividend yield as well. A multinational company, most probably demand is not going to be so low as was being expected earlier. Raw material pressure would not be there, and the demand side balancing would be there. New products on the EV side could help them. They're expanding their distribution reach as well. So I think it's a story, even if you consider 10-15% growth over the next 2-3 years and a multiple of around 25 times, you should still have some decent upside for the stock from current levels.
Okay, so that was Castrol India for you. But let's discuss auto sector as well, Mr. Avasthi. The index is up around 40% this year, has outperformed the benchmarks clearly, and the macro cues are also pretty. The auto industry, if you see, that also saw a noteworthy growth. So any stocks that you like from the auto space that you want to recommend to our viewers that are on your radar?
I think the current run-up has been steep enough to get good valuations for all of them. I think most of them would be trading at peak valuations. I think Tata Motors as a stock could continue to see some re-ratings valuation-wise. It is still attractive. Similarly, Ashok Leyland also, we expect the CV cycle to be strong. So Ashok Leyland has some decent upside around 50-60 rupees from the current prices. And Tata Motors, I think, with the JLR turnaround happening and continuation of that trend, passenger vehicle getting traction in the domestic market, as well as your CV business gaining some traction, that is a story that still has seems like has legs for another 150, 200 bucks. So you could be looking at 850, 900 on Tata Motors. Rest of the pack, I think it's a bit stretched. TVS was stretched earlier, has been stretched for quite some time. Now with Hero and Bajaj coming in with competition on the electric side of the business, I think gradually some sanity would return to the numbers and expectations from TVS. Though export markets could open a new range of opportunity for TVS and Hero particularly. But I think at these prices, most of the positives seem to be priced in, and any kind of negative news might meet with a very sharp reaction. So I would limit my exposure to Tata Motors and probably Ashok Leyland.
Uh, Sticking to two-wheelers, Sharad, the laggard, the most, how should I say, slow-moving counter, Hero Motors today hit a record high. It's broken out of a 6-year range. Last time we saw these prices was in 2017. So, huge underperformance for this one. Would you have a fundamental view on Hero Motors? Is it worthwhile to continue in this one?
The valuations comparatively might look good, but I think most of the positives that were to be there, whether the Vida launch or the improvement on the two-wheeler side, that's all probably priced in. I'm looking at as probably some export and the new launches that they have done, some traction there. But at current prices, I think it's optimistically priced, and I don't see much upside from current levels. What they do on the export side would be something very interesting. The European launches that most of the two-wheeler companies have shown up seem to be very promising. But launch and sales is a different ball game rather than just auto show launches. So I think at current prices, most probably Hero MotoCorp would be also fairly to fully valued. Bajaj Auto is obviously even more expensive than this. TVS is at a different level. So most of the two-wheeler stocks, I think, are fairly to overvalued at current prices, and much upside from these levels seems like a difficult job.
Okay. In the last 3 years, Hero Motor has given a return of, let me get this data for you, 33%. So nothing much in terms of strong capital appreciation. And of course, it's lagged substantially behind TVS Motors, Eicher, and in particular Bajaj. Let's see what Bajaj has given over 3 years. I'm sure that thing would be really substantial. We'll get that number for you in a while. Sometimes software lets you down really at the last minute when it's most importantly needed. Okay, 319. Sharaji, anything that catches your fancy which we can discuss and hold for portfolios over the next 6 months or so? Any stock in the mid cap space that might have corrected fairly sharply over the last 2 years and is now finding traction on the long side? What looks good?
Not the last 2 years. One of the recent listing, Yatra, has seen some correction in the past. It is gaining some traction now. When I look at the numbers, the dominant positioning that they have with respect to the market share within the corporate segment, the type of travel pickup that we are seeing across corporates, MSMEs also would start to contribute substantially there, and Yatra is already eyeing that space. I believe even the retail individual masses would be traveling, and hotel booking would continue to go up. Hotels we already know are already in a very good shape. So I think demand-wise, air ticketing and your travel and ancillary services they provide, all of this could provide very good growth for the company. I think 20-25% growth should not be very difficult for the company at the top line level, and at the bottom line level this year, you could see very substantial improvement for an earnings of somewhere around 1.3. We could be scaling it up to somewhere around 6. So I think that is a story which is trading at 4x EV to sales, and you could easily get, 6, 7 times EV to sales. So initially, I think a 180 kind of target, which is a 30, 40 kind of multiple on the stock, would be easily possible. So once the numbers start coming out and the traction is visible, I think there is a high probability that Yatra could be very strongly re-rated in the short to medium term.
Okay, Yatra is one. Okay, 9 minutes left. Let's look at the market once again. Almost a century on the Nifty, 21,450 for you. The Nifty Bank 250 points higher, 47,740. And in terms of percentage rise in the broader market, I think it's the Pharma index that's stolen the show for today. Let's look at the broader market today. Let's see what's the top gainer. The energy index, of course, 1.4% higher, 33,265. Everything from Coal India to NTPC to SGV and to NHPC, everything is a buzz. Nifty Metals Index 1.2% higher, 7748. The auto index and the pharma index are up 1% each, and then you have a smattering of gains on the FMCG mid cap 100, the broader indices 200, 500, and 100, and of course 0.5% higher on the Nifty Bank itself. Okay, let's look at stocks that are hitting record highs. Again, this is a very sensible thing to watch, because these are the ones where momentum is the strongest and you find them coming repeatedly on your list. So let's start with the three defense players. They are on a very, very strong offensive. BDL 1691, 7% higher. Cochin Shipbuilders 5.6% higher, 1374. BEL 182, almost 4.1% higher. BEML 2% higher. Of course, from the pharma space, we have Torrent Pharma for you, 2284, almost a 3% gain. And we've discussed Colgate Palmolive. In the morning, we had marked Shah Metallics, and of course, Tanya's favorite, Gas Authority, 154.25, 1.8%. Phenomenal volumes, 4.37 crore shares have been traded. Sharadji, your view on Gas Authority, record high here?
I think the valuations are still not stretched. If you look at GAIL, I believe it's trading at somewhere around still trading at somewhere around 18, 19 times, and growth over the next year should be very strong. Next year, we are expecting EPS of somewhere around 17, 18 rupees. So I think ideally, even if it trades at, say, 10, 11 times, you are still looking at 180, 200 on the stock. So I think GAIL, the government focus is also very clear on improving gas as an alternative energy source. And GAIL, with its pipeline infrastructure as well as the ENP part, I think is in a very sweet spot. So I think decent growth, 10-12% should continue to happen with some revisions, etc. I think you could look at a target of somewhere around 180, 200 on the stock.
Okay. Tanya, yours.
Shail, let's discuss some of the sectors with Mr. Avasthi. So, talking about 2024, Mr. Avasthi, and about IT and PSU banking space. What are your expectations when it comes to the banking space? I mean, the index is up around 10% in 2023 so far. What are your expectations for 2024? And if you could share your thoughts on IT space as well.
So my expectation is largely that advances growth would continue to be very healthy. We would not see GNPA pressures at all, and it would be very normal pressures, happens to 1 or 2% maybe here and there. And that should result in very healthy bottom line accretion for these companies. Further, the treasury book should also start contributing. We've already seen G6 come down, and I think going ahead, that will be a trend that will continue over the next year or so. So all the three segments, treasury, retail, corporate lending, should continue to fire. Even rural should continue to do well. Add to that the MSME basket, which is a major focus for most of the banks now. I think the GNPA pressures would not be there. So most banks would have very good accretion to the book value. And most of the provisioning is more or less optimized. So I don't think there would be much of a pressure on the provisioning part also. So your bottom line should look very good. There is a high probability that PSU banks and private banks narrow the price to book multiple differential that they're trading at right now. So that should be very beneficial for PSU banks. I think on an average, most of them are trading at 1.2 times. And there is a high possibility that over the next year or so, simply by re-rating on the price to book multiple, they could be looking at 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 times. So that would be around, 30-35% appreciation straight away. Add to that earnings growth of around 15-20% on the minimal side. And I think you're looking at a very strong performance for most PSU banks. For ITs, I think the first 3 months will be crucial. That we have seen a bit of a run up in many stocks, but still, I think valuations are not that demanding. Most of the stocks are trading at what 18-20 times, barring the few Coforges and Persistence of the world. There, I think a re-rating in terms of forward expectation should be visible over the next 2 quarters. So I think the mood should be very positive there. And then beyond that, we'll need to see how it pans out. So for both sectors, I think the next year should be very positive.
Okay, Mr. Avasthi, got that. And there's one question that we are repeatedly getting from our viewers, and that is, the top themes to bet on for 2024. Any themes that you would like to share with us?
I think defense would continue to be a theme to bet in 2024 as well. Though people are fretting about it that they have run up a bit over the last 1 year or so, but that is a case we had seen in PFC and REC like stories, which were at a point trading at 0.3 times price to book. So even if they treble, they're only trading at 1 times price to book. So I think that is a similar story that will play out in defense. Rather than too much of a valuation comfort, I think that is a space where you could see substantial re-rating in the forward numbers depending on the order book. And I think most companies would be easily doubling their order book. And if that happens, I think most of the numbers, forward projections will also double up. And that should result in most of the PE right now is what the HAL to Cochin to everything is trading at 18 to 22 times. And if those numbers, forward expectations, this is on forward numbers. And I think if those expectations are built up, you could easily be looking at 10, 11 times for most of these companies. So while they have run up a bit, they might not be very expensive still. And I think you should use every day for a gradual approach to regularly adding to stocks. And I think over the next year or so, there is a possibility that they might repeat the performance that they've done in this year.
Okay, and with that background in mind, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, Tanya and I will be discussing a specific sector-oriented fund, the HDFC Defence Fund, to look at how to, with the maximum amount of ease and the least effort, ride this wonderful rally that Sharad foresees happening in the defense space for 2024. 3:28, ladies and gentlemen, let's start wrapping up the market for you. Almost a triple, okay, it's a century on the Nifty. So 21,451 is with us. I know Sharad doesn't track the Nifty, but let's sort of find out. Sharad, the 3 days left, 21,600 for us this year?
Yeah, you can hope the way it is
Record
going. I
close?
think that's a very good possibility.
Okay, so Sharad, one of the most conservative of analysts and fund watchers as well as market watchers, says that यहाँ से 150 point बढ़ जाएगा. So we'll hopefully see a fresh record high over the next 3 years. I was talking to someone really deeply into markets today afternoon, and Tanya, he said, अगर आप इस रैली में खुश नहीं है ना, तो आपको बाजार में नहीं होना चाहिए. So with that, let's try and end the show. So 21,450 for you, ladies and gentlemen. Over the next 3 sessions, we are looking at 21,593 to be scaled. Remember, that's the all-time high on the Nifty. And if that happens, then we'll end 2023 on a strong note and also enter 2024 on an equally strong footing. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's all from my side. Thank you, Sharad, for those lovely comments. We'll definitely keep the stock recommendations that you've made for the long term in our mind. Defense, of course, is a theme that's likely to resonate equally sharply in 2024. Tanya, over to you.
Absolutely, Shail. It was a terrific Tuesday for Indian markets, and indeed, And thank you so much, Mr. Avasthi and Shail, for sharing these, excellent ideas with us as always. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap, and the Santa rally actually continues on the last street. We hope that this rally continues going forward as well. But with that, it's a wrap. Lots more coming up for you only on BT TV. Stay tuned, and many thanks for watching.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.